Welcome to Your Thoughts, Your Reality with Michael Cole, the podcast that shines a compassionate light on the journey of veterans battling through life's challenges. Michael is a dual elite certified neuroencoding specialist in coaching and keynote training presentations, dedicated to guiding military veterans as they navigate the intricate pathways of post-deployment life. Join him as we delve into the profound realm of neuroencoding science, empowering these brave individuals to conquer universal battles, procrastination, self-doubt, fear, and more. Together, let's uncover the strength within you to re-engage with families and society, forging a new path forward.
Hello, everybody. Hey, I have my friend, my mentor, Veenu Keller. So happy to have you return on to the Your Thoughts, Your Reality podcast. So Veenu, real quick, she is the parent-child whisperer. She's the NEI method of coaching instructor. She speaks from Tony Robbins stages. She's an in-home interventionist and best-selling author, distinguished parent coach and child behavioral specialist. And I could keep going for the full 30 minutes, my friends. So Veenu, welcome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And thank you for coming back on. You're always a pleasure to play with.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So good to be here with you, Michael. And what you're doing in this world means so much to me. I used to be married to a military years ago. I live in a military town. I have worked with veterans. I have friends that are veterans. And so what you're doing for the people that serve our country so we can have our freedom every day, I just love being able to contribute to that in any way I possibly can. So, you pretty much summed up a lot of what I do, but my main focus in life is breaking that generational cycle between parenting our kids from the way we were parented to the way that we're parenting now. And it's really about getting to the belief systems that we thought worked for us and that we think needs to work for our kids. And we just need to start shifting that and be open to shifting that.
Amen. And it's amazing the things you do. And you know what I love is you're doing it at ground level. You're changing these families' lives, but you're changing those kids' lives, again, multi-generational, and it's just going to continue. It's really phenomenal the work you do. So
thank you.
Honored to know you, my friend. So before we get started, we want to go through, I just want to make a point of on the top right-hand corner, there's a blue QR code. Please scan that. If you're listening on the podcast forums on Spotify and Apple Music and so on later on, it's empowerperformancestrategies.com. Again, empowerperformancestrategies.com. There are all kinds of resources for veterans and their families. There's some ebooks that I've written. There are Facebook groups. Please reach out. There's lots of resources there, and they're there for a reason. So please connect. Okay, so let's get started, shall we?
We shall.
All right. So Veenu, I know your story, but for our viewing audience and again our listening audience later, tell us a little bit about you and how you kind of got started and moved into the trajectory of being a parent coach and the parent-child whisperer.
Well, I think that all of our lives, if we look back to what we did as a child and where we came from in our life, we look at, how many of us out there ask ourselves, why did this happen to me? Like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, oh my gosh, look at the life that I've lived. And when I look at that, I could tell you with absolute certainty, it was preparing me to be who I am today. Going through feeling not seen and heard as a child, going through being bullied, going through not feeling accepted, thinking that love was conditional, that I had to be a certain way for my family to love me. I had to look a certain way for my friends to like me. Everything was conditioned in my life. Right. And as I moved through that and as I healed that piece of that identity that was wrapped around everyone else's thoughts about me, when I finally started to heal that and I started to take off the mask, layers and layers of masks, I started to see who I really was. And I realized that if I could help give kids a childhood they won't have to heal from, how will that change the trajectory of the world? If that I can help take off the masks of anxiety and depression and stop labeling our kids for all these different things and really get to the cause and the core of what is going on with them. Because that's not what happened with me. I was always told, you're depressed, you have anxiety, you should put her on this medication, and I was like, when I was a young adult, I was on anti-anxiety, I was on antidepressants. And you know what? I was still anxious and I was still depressed on those medicines. I was in therapy for 10 years. I still wanted to take my life in therapy. It wasn't until I started to realize that I need to start focusing on what I want instead of focusing on where I feel stuck. As I lived in the victimhood of my life, instead of looking at writing, like what would the chapter look like to write myself out of victimhood and put me into the heroine of the story, right? And so I needed to be that hero. And once I figured out how I needed to do that for me, not for you, not for anybody else or what everybody else thinks about me, but for myself, I saw and I continue to see what that does to my kids and the way I see my kids growing up and even my adult kids, because I have 6 kids, 4 of which are mine and 2 that I was blessed to be a stepmom to, and which gives me every title, by the way, of mom. So I'm a working mom, a single mom, a married mom, a stepmom, a mom of older kids, a mom of younger kids. I'm a grandma, you know. So I have the experience. I was a military mom, right? Because ex-husband, he would go on deployment, I'd be left at home with the kids, and then we had to see how does he fit back into our lives, because we learned 6 months how to live without him, and now dad comes back, and not only for us but for him, how disconnected he must have felt.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that for sure. I'm super excited, and thank you for sharing that. That's a lot of moms.
It is, yeah.
Susan just jumped on and said, a very busy mom.
Very busy.
So I want to touch base on something I think it's super important, and then we're going to get into, we're going to dive deep, if you will. So what motivated you to create the In-Home Family Turnaround Program? I think this is a phenomenal program that you do. Just absolutely phenomenal. And how has it impacted families so far? And then we're going to jump into some other stuff.
So I created the In-Home Turnaround probably around 2014 or 15. And it started out with a family that lived in a different state. And I, at the time, worked with kids with developmental disabilities. I was really honing in on behaviors and changing the behaviors by getting to the cause instead of the effect. And this family was like, well, how could you work with us? And I'm like, because they lived in Georgia. And I said, I mean, I can come stay with you. And they're like, really? You can come live with us? And I'm like, yeah, I'll come stay there for like 4 days. And so they're like, okay, how much do we pay you? And I told them how much to pay me. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, okay. I was like, gosh, now I have to decide, like, what am I going to do? Like, I know what to do going into your house daily as my client and looking at what's happening, looking at your family dynamics, looking at how your kids respond to you, and then you watching what I do to get your kids to respond differently, and then watching you guys do it without my help. And I'm like, that's brilliant. I just need to turn that hour into a 4-day thing. Right. So I developed the first day of observation. The second day I'm in charge. The third day you're in charge with my coaching. And the fourth day you're on your own and I'm just watching. And it's been so successful for those families that do the work. You're a coach, I'm a coach. And we all know you will get as much out of this as you put into this. I can't want it more than you. I am not the fairy godmother where I just take my wand and go bing, 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 and the whole family changes. You have to do the work. And so what we do to ensure that there's sustainable changes, I coach you afterwards every week to make sure you're still in it to win it, that you're still doing the work without me. And so that's how it was developed. And I've had so much success for those that are fully invested in making the change. It's intense, but it works. You know, it absolutely works. And so that is one of my pride and joys I love doing. I only get to do 1 a month or 2 a month because I have my own family. So to leave them for 4 days is a lot, but I love doing that. And my family supports me in doing it. My husband loves the change that I get to make in the world. And he gets to have a part of it by supporting me and my kids.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I think we found a title real quick that you're not the fairy godmother.
I'm not.
You're not, or are you? No, you know, honestly, all joking aside, phenomenal work. And every time I see, you know, Veenu and I are friends, and you know, obviously we talk and we've seen posts and everything else. And every time I see you're going to go do it, I'm just like, man, those families, they have no idea.
They really don't.
No, they don't. They don't.
It's funny because I've asked my families, I'm like, if I had to describe this in a different way, how would I describe it? And they said, you can't. Like what you said you'll do. It's people's minds that can't fathom that it can really work. You know, and like one piece of information I just learned recently, and I'd love to share with your listeners, is that when we say we want something, it goes to our frontal cortex, which is our reasoning and our organizational, you know, the way we think. our brain takes up to 3 minutes to process to give us the probability of whether we think we can get it or not based on past references.
Interesting.
So if you've tried everything with your family, everything with your kids, and your kids are still yelling at you and your kids aren't listening, and you just tried everything, because trust me, I've been there with my own kids. Sometimes I still get there. It's like I go to my brain and I say, well, I can hire this person. And this person says they're going to do that. That within 3 minutes, my brain says the probability. Well, what about that other therapist you hired? What about the counseling you went through? What about the other coach you had? What about the programs you did? None of that worked. Do you really think she's going to work? And so it's up to you as the parents to fight against that and say, you know what? I've already put this money out. I'm going to do it again because this is my last ditch effort. Because when's the last time you had somebody live in your house, not live there for 8 hours and go to a hotel and eat, shrimp and steak? I don't like shrimp anyway. But anyway, it's stay in your house, eat with you, watch the family behaviors of what you do to see what you're not seeing.
I can't think of another way that someone could possibly really understand their model of the world.
Right.
I mean, how more in depth can you get than spending that time?
Right. You think about it this way. You meet a friend, you're all great with them, and then all of a sudden you spend 3 days with them, living with them. You get to see them in a different light. They're not just that hour of doing it. Like, like you said, like you, me and Susan become really close over the last couple months. It's like, but before I was an instructor for you. So you just got a piece of me, an hour of me a week. And then now you got to see me in my pajamas, drinking coffee together, having a glass of wine at night together. Like you got to see a different side of me, which is still congruent with what you see, but you got to see a different depth of me. So all of a sudden you learn different things about me.
Absolutely.
And that's literally what happens when we're in our all pajamas together as a family.
Absolutely. So, and by the way, best time in the world. Still treasure that time. And side note, if you ever want to learn how to play spoons, let us know.
Yes, I love spoons.
I know you do. Look, Veenu Keller, I'm going to say this. Integrity, I don't care if it's 1 hour or 3 days or a week or whatever. She's the same person across the board. And Veenu Keller is very competitive, which makes her who she is. I'll tell you that now. So thank you for sharing all of that. And if anybody gets a chance to work with Veenu, I'm telling you, hands down, best money ever spent.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's move to transitioning from military to civilian life. It can be very challenging, right? As you know personally, for a family. So what are some common struggles that you've seen? And maybe some strategies, even neuroencoding strategies.
Right.
We can play that in, I'm sure we did, into how to help.
So what I experience and what I've seen is probably very similar. Mm-hmm. Like I said, my husband would go away for training for a week and then come back. He would go to the rifle range and then come back. Or he would go to CAX, 29 Palms, for 3 weeks and then come back. And then he would go on a 6-month deployment and then come back. So our life for me and my children at the time was never a settle. Dad gets up, goes to work, comes home. We all eat as a family, whatever. We had to learn life without dad, which means that paying the bills, making the decisions, going to the doctor's appointments. Should we do this insurance company or should we do that insurance? You know what? He's not here. I got to make up that mind by myself. My son needs this surgery. Should I do the surgery now? Should I do it later? Oh, I can't wait. Okay, I'll do it now. And the husband's not there. I remember my first miscarriage I had. He wasn't there.
That's tough.
And so you have to create a different meaning. Is he's not there. He's not there, double negative, because he doesn't love you. He's not there because of a job he signed up for, which means you ultimately knew. So you signed up for that too. That is why I only can speak for the Marines. They said, the Marines is the toughest job that you'll ever have. And I said, no, being a Marine wife is the toughest job you'll ever have, because you have to mentally prepare yourself. Because think about it. You're with Susan. If Susan was constantly gone and never able to make decisions with you, you would probably start to think like, well, does she even care? Like, she's not involved. Like, where is she? But if it's their job, you have to know it has nothing to do with you. And you have to, and if you're already battling self-worth and self-esteem issues, which I was at the time, it's a lot of resilience to know it's not because of you he's not involved. And so I do think that that's one of the reasons why we got divorced. It's like I got tired of being by myself. I got tired of making myself feel seen and heard. I got tired. And so you lose the communication skills too. Then when they come back, it's integrating them back into the family. There's a little honeymoon stage. Well, I missed you and everything's about you. But then we got to get back to life. Like I still got a job to do. The kids still have to go to school. The kids are doing soccer. Like there's still stuff that we got to do. And I'm sorry I don't have time for you. So do they feel neglected now because they're trying to fit them in? And then the schedule gets changed because now he's on night crew. Well, okay, you think that's going to work, but newsflash, the kids are at school. I'm at work during the day. So you're by yourself anyway. By the time we get home, you're going to work. So we literally only got to see each other 2 days a week.
Right.
And it's like, how do we make that work? It can work. I have friends that are military, retired military, and they learn how to make it work. And I'm going to tell you that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it made them stronger. It really did. They pushed through. And here's the key for all your listeners. Communication.
How do you say that? That was the next point I was going to bring up. Nice.
Communication. And here's the deal. I got married at 18. My husband was 21 when we got married. We had our first child when I was 20. And, we were only good as the communication we grew up with. We both had a single mom that wasn't around working to put food on the table. It definitely, again, a product of our environment of how to communicate. It was a simple here, a simple there. And, and we thought that was it. We thought like, oh, you're home. Yay. Okay, good. What do you want for dinner? It wasn't like, hey, what was that like for you to be gone? And can I tell you what I was feeling? What could we do better to keep that communication up when you are gone? Because we had snail mail there too. We didn't have cell phones back then. We didn't have, we did have computers, but it was dial up. And you didn't know if you got past their if it was really going to connect or not. And then it's like, oh, reconnecting. Overseas, it was too hard. I remember having like, oh, they'll be there from this time to this time. So you would not leave the house. You probably wouldn't sleep because you're afraid you wouldn't hear the phone ring. The worst thing was coming home and getting your answering machine and playing your answering machine, seeing you have 3 missed calls and you have 3 messages. And it's like, hey, I'm trying to get up with you. Where are you? I want to talk to you. And then you feel the frustration in their voice because they can't get up with you.
Absolutely. And I remember there was a time that you talked about how I literally wouldn't go out because you were scared to miss the call.
Right. Yeah. I was scared to miss the call. I was scared that he would be upset with me. I would be scared of the stories he would create. There's a lot of people that miss that connection. So they cheat on their spouses when they're gone. And they cheat on their spouses when they're gone, right? It's like there's such a need of connection and belonging. Sometimes we sacrifice our beliefs in order to get that need met.
Absolutely.
And so again, communication.
Absolutely. So let's dive a little deeper on that if we can, the communication part. So whether you're deployed or coming back, give us some tips for real being present communication. Like for Susan and I, it can be as simple as we kiss and we look each other in the eyes and just spend a second being present. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Give us some tips. Give us some thoughts on that. And then I want to move into the children and reconnecting with them if we can.
So I think for families right now, you guys have a gift because you have cell phones. You don't have to wait in a long line for the payphone and hope that you get on that call with your wife before they're like, no, phones are cut down now. So FaceTime, Zoom, WhatsApp video, like Facebook video chat, like look at your person in the face, whether it's a guy or girl, be present with them. Ask them questions that matter, not how are you, not how are things going. Find out, what do you have planned this week? What's exciting? What's the best thing you've done this week? What are you celebrating?
Love it.
Because when we celebrate, we're telling our brain we did something right. We're getting that dopamine hit of, where we feel excitement and it feels good. Why would you not want that dopamine hit all the time by celebrating? Celebrate the fact that you guys get to be together. Even if you just sit in silence, just stare at each other and just say, I noticed I notice you, I see you, and I know I can't be there with you, but I just want to take this moment and just look in your eyes and feel you.
Absolutely love it.
My husband travels and I travel, and sometimes we're passing ships. Like we were like talking about, I think it's July. We literally won't see each other until like the end of August, from July to August, because I have travel jobs, he has travel jobs, and when he gets back, I'm already gone by a day, and then I get back and then he's gone again, and it just works out that way. We use Marco Polo now, which is an app that we just recently in the last few months found out about. So we leave each other messages, and
Fantastic.
it feels so good just to I woke up this morning to like him in the dark, and it's like, hey, I miss you. Because he's gone for work, and he's like, I wish I was here just to cuddle you. I just want you to know that I'm deeply
keep this clean.
That's it. Deeply miss you. It's a deeply miss you. And it brought tears to my eyes of just gratitude, of feeling seen, feeling needed, just in that little, literally 5-second video.
That's fantastic.
So there's ways that you could create that. And I think that that's what me and my husband found, is that polarity is a lot. Proximity is a lot. And when the proximity is missing, how can you create it? So ask yourself, what would have to happen for me to create that proximity with my husband, even though he's not physically here? I've had people that I've worked with, not even military, where, they're college students and they're in Texas and they're persons in New York. You know what they do on Friday nights? They have Zoom dinner dates, and they get on Zoom. They make the same meal. They would talk about how each one were better than the other. They put on the movie at the same time, so they'd watch the movie together. So they would create date nights through Zoom.
I love that. And the idea they make the same meal, and that's super cool.
Yeah.
That is super cool.
And that's one of the things, is that because they were like, I don't want to break up, but how do you keep doing this? And I said, well, what's missing? They're like, well, we don't get to be with them. We don't get to see them. I said, well, what would have to happen for you to see them if you can't be with them? Like, what would it mean to you to be close? And so we just came up with this at the cuff, like, this is what we're doing. Right. And it kept their relationship together for the next 4 years, because that person wasn't leaving New York or wherever they were. They were going to finish their 4-year degree, and I love what Susan just said, date night pivot. Absolutely. Sometimes we have to pivot, right? But as long as we stay focused on what is the true need that we want, doesn't matter what we do to get it.
I love that. Yeah. And it's so true. It's so true. If we can just make that connection, and there's always a way, right? And when people say, I've tried everything. Have you really? You've tried everything. And all of a sudden they're like, no, we haven't tried everything.
Well, that's what I tell my clients. They're like, we've tried everything. I'm like, you haven't tried Veenu Keller yet. Tell me this afterwards. And then they're like, oh my gosh, it's so great. When you have a 9-year-old that's like, Mom, I am so grateful for Veenu, because we tried everything, and she's the first person who made me feel like I want to live. Like, that just gives chills to me, right?
Ooh, yeah, me too, right now.
And that's coming from a 9-year-old.
Yeah. Wow.
So when we think our kids aren't deep, they're deep. They're the ones that are feeling it. You think that they like to have these behaviors? We think they do because they have them so often. But honestly, it's a release for them. It's an expression for them. Mm-hmm. So it's a great segue into like the kids, right? Like, when we look at some of the behaviors our kids have when military families leave, and we're like, well, it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment. It is an adjustment. So ask the kids, what do you need? What I've seen lately that they didn't have when, maybe they did, I didn't see them though, but they have like daddy dolls. So they get like a picture of your soldier or your Marine or your Navy guy in his uniform, his face, and they stuff it, and then mom would spray his cologne on it or whatever, and the baby and the little kids can snuggle that at night. So they still had, it's like a daddy doll. They were kind of creepy looking, but really a great, could be a voodoo doll. I'm just joking.
I love you, lady.
So
you're creepy looking.
How great that is, that people are, again, it's pivoting. I love that Susan said that. It's a pivot. It's like, if I can't have my dad here, what do I need from my dad to make him feel like he's here?
Absolutely.
Because it's really just the body that's not there. The thought's still there. You're being thought of. And so it's creating that with these kids. And do we see behaviors change once they realize that, the other thing is that a lot of times they're like, well, when your dad gets home, you're going to. And so we set our dads up to, to be the bad person. And so stop doing that as well. Stop setting dad up to be that way. Just, take care of the situation and say, you know what, I would like to discuss this with your dad because I want to figure out how we could support you best in this.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's great.
It's about supporting, not punishing.
Yeah. I love that. Going back to the daddy or mommy doll, also I want to make a point that when a person, child, adult, imagines something or visualizes something, your brain doesn't know the difference.
Correct.
And so you're still releasing all those good hormones and all that good feeling stuff. Teach them to smile, teach them to celebrate, all that stuff when you're doing it. This little neuron coding, guys, just little tips here. But when you do that, it changes what the mind actually sees, if you will. So just a quick tip. I love the I'm assuming there's a mommy.
Oh, absolutely, mommy. I don't want to leave that out. I'm sorry, because I mean,
yeah,
one of my dearest friends, was retired military, and she's amazing. She's freaking amazing.
So and thank you. And it can be a cousin doll, whatever. Uncle, whatever it means to you. So
and it doesn't have to be just military. Like this is what I love about your talk. We can address the military because it's a behavioral pattern we see all the time where mom and dads are deploying. But like, again, like with me and my husband, like we travel a lot, right? My kids are old enough now. They don't really need that. Sage might think it's a little creepy, but for those that have families, like, your mom or the dad travel, like, and you got little ones,
yeah, corporate structures, that kind of stuff, where they're sales structures, any of that stuff. I think that's fantastic. Thank you for bringing that up as well.
And no, I don't have an affiliate link to the mommy daddy dolls. I should have. I don't have an affiliate link to the mommy daddy dolls, but I should probably get one now.
You probably can. In fact, this show is sponsored by
creepy mommy daddy dolls.
I'm gonna have one in the background tomorrow. Oh, I just moved my camera. So let's move on from the mommy daddy dolls. So when the veterans coming home, and we're getting low on time here. So when the veterans are coming home and they are reconnecting, again, there's the honeymoon period. I love you, great to see you, like you were saying earlier. Sorry for the voice I just did. But what are some tips, just some quick little tips as far as just how do you create that open communication? Because it's not as easy as it sounds sometimes when you're caught up in everything else you're dealing with in life. Is your dog there?
Yes, they are.
Mine's back here too.
Just like go, because they're going to start fighting in a second. So to create that open, safe, and trusting space, ask them what they need before they get home. What do you need in order to feel, included again? How can I support you in reconnecting with us? That's why if you have that communication while they're gone and they know what you're up to and they know what's exciting, did you join this new yoga class and you love it? Or did you join this new gym? Or, did you find a new hairstylist? Did you change your hair? There's a new movie that's coming out that you can't wait to see with the kids. Is include them in your daily life all the time. So when they come home, the transition's not so difficult for them. Give them space. I have realized when my husband comes home, he needs 24 hours. Like for me to be like, I mean, you said you mowed the lawn when you got home. You've been home for 15 minutes. Like, when are you going to get on that lawnmower? Because my lawn is just like crazy right now. That does not work for me and Brian. He needs a day to just piddle around the house. And you've met Brian. So like, he loves nature. Like he has to go walk barefoot and go take care of the chickens, and the lawn will be done in like 48 hours probably. And so I have learned that because I've asked him, and it gives him permission for me not to judge him like, oh, he's lazy. Like I've been holding down the house for 10 days and now he's back. And it's like, oh, I'm just going to take a vacation again. It's like, yeah, it's exactly, Susan. It's decompressing. Right. And how that changed, because it's taken away expectations. See, expectations is the number one killer of relationships. People think it's money. It's not. It's expectations. And learn to appreciate rather than expect, so instead of expecting him to come home to mow the lawn, I could just appreciate he's home.
Mhm.
I could appreciate that, I'm not lonely in my bed tonight. I can appreciate that I don't have to go pick up the kids because he's going to go pick up the kids. It's just really appreciating where he's at. Appreciating that I have a lawn for him to mow, that after 15 years, it's not all, weeds. Like, it's great. It's finally growing grass, but seriously, it's like, what can you appreciate in that moment? And asking him when he's coming home, like, I want to appreciate you. You've been gone. What do you need when you get home from us? Maybe they don't want the big welcome party. Maybe they don't want everyone at the house. Maybe they just, want a night with just the kids and not you, because they've missed their little kitties and they want to get them associated, and then they want you. How do you take what they're saying and not take it personally? And know their needs are your needs and your needs are their needs.
Amen. Yeah, that's fantastic. I'd like to kind of add on to that a little bit, especially for veterans coming back, because a lot of times there's anxiety and those issues, if you will, of what to expect. So if that communication's there, half that's going to be gone. And I want to add one more thing. Start planning ahead of time for your transition on things you guys are going to do, so that everybody's already excited about it and you have something to look forward to. It's not you come back and it's now what?
Right.
Yeah.
I want to add one more strategy if I can, because I know we're almost out of time.
You're good. Hey, I own the place. Go for it.
Okay, great. So one of the things that I do with my families is that I help them incorporate family meetings. And so, like, every Sunday night, they're eating dinner and they do the family meeting. It's like, what are we working on? What was old business? What do we need to work on? What are we going to be looking forward to this week? And if you continue to do those family meetings with your spouse, mom or dad, whoever's gone, when they come home, have a family meeting. Right? Like, just keep it going. So it's like something is normal for them still.
Love it.
It's normal. It's normalizing the situation that they don't have to miss out on everything.
So would you start the family meetings before they go?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that it just flows seamlessly.
Yeah.
And
something constant, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Zoom it.
Yes, Zoom it.
Again, that communication and that connection all the way through, not just for the family, but everybody. So, and you can have Daddy Doll there. This show brought to you by. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you as always, as a person, and of course as a guest here. You always bring such amazing content and information. So I love you to death. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Before we go, 3 tips.
Be curious, not critical. My favorite one. I always say that. Get rid of your expectations and learn to appreciate more, and end your day with celebration and gratitude.
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, everybody. And on that note, again, Veenu, thank you very much. Can't wait to have you back, and see you.
Yes.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, everybody. We're out of here.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on another insightful journey of Your Thoughts, Your Reality podcast with your host, Michael Cole. We hope the conversation sparked some thoughts that resonate with you. To dive deeper into empowering your thoughts and enhancing your reality, visit empowerperformancestrategies.com. Remember, your thoughts shape your reality, so make them count. Until next time, stay inspired and keep creating the reality you desire. Catch you on the next episode.